Okay, so what we're going to be looking at today is fractional distance. Our essential question here is, how do I find a point not exactly halfway between 2 points? Now, you may recall the midpoint formula, which can be used to find a point exactly halfway between 2 points. But what if we want to find a point that's 1/3 of the way, or 2/7 of the way, or something like that? In a case like that, we're going to have to do something different because we don't have an exact formula for that. So we got to learn some steps to handle anything that comes our way. We're going to start off in just one dimension on a number line to kind of build our base up before we get to the crazier one. So example 1 just says find the point that's 1/3 of the way from -1 to 5. So let's just stick 0 here. So -1, -2, and so on. And going this way, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're trying to go from -1 to 5. So we're trying to travel this way. And we're traveling left to right? We're traveling from -1 to 5. So how do we handle this? 1/3 of that distance. Well, what I'm going to recommend we do is we always consider where we're starting and where we're going. Right? We're starting at -1. We're going to 5. So this is going to be my -1 is going to be essentially my, for lack of a better term, this is my x1 and this is my x2. Right? I'm starting at -1. I'm going to 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by doing 5 minus -1. We're going to do x2 minus x1. Now, since 5 minus -1, that flips positive, right? That's 5 plus 1. That's going to be 6. And that tells me how far away those are. That means that it's 6 units to get from -1 to 5. And we can definitely see that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that makes sense to us. It's 6 units away. But we don't want to go the whole 6, right? We only want to go 1/3 of that way. So what is 1/3 of 6? 1/3 times 6 is 2. So we don't want to go 6, we only want to go 2 over. And where were we starting? Well, we were starting at x1, right? So we go back to x1 and we add whatever we just got. -1 plus 2 is 1. And that should make sense, right? If we go over 2 from -1, we get to 1. So 1 is going to be my final answer there. 1 is the number that is 1/3 of the way from -1 to 5. All right, now what about this one here? We're trying to go from -3 to 7. Okay, 2/5 of the way from -3 to 7. Well, let's put -3 all the way over here then. -2, -1, 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I don't know what happened to that line. Yours will be there, but there's none. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to go from -3 to 7. So this is the whole distance that we're going. Now we're going from here to here, so that's my 1 and my 2. And let's review those steps again, right? Our first step was to do x2 minus x1. So that's going to be 7 minus -3. Minus a negative is a positive, so that's 10. But we don't want to go to the whole 10. We're trying to go 2/5 of that. 2/5 of 10. 2/5 times 10. 2 times 10 is 20. Divided by 5 is 4. Now, 4 is not my answer. 4 is the distance that I need to travel from my beginning point. And I started at -3. So -3 plus 4 is 1. So So 1 is my answer. 1 is the point that is 2/5 of the way from -3 to 7. Okay. And our last one here. We don't even have a number line. We just got to review the steps, right? This is my x1, this is my x2. I'm trying to go 2/3 of the way from 10 to -11. So we start off, we do x2 minus x1. -11 minus 10. That is -21. But we're not trying to go that whole way. We're trying to go 2/3 of -21. 2 times -21 is -42. -42 divided by 3 is 14. Sorry, -14. And where were we starting? We were starting at 10. So we go back to 10. We add the -14, or we subtract 14. 10 minus 14 is -4. So going from 10 to -11, 2/3 of the way, is -4. Okay. So that is what to do in 1 dimension. Now let's go to 2 dimensions. So, 2 dimensions. I wrote down some steps here for us. Steps for finding a point of fractional distance between 2 other points. And you're going to see that these are the same steps we followed, right? We first find the difference of the x-coordinates by doing x2 minus x1. Then we take that answer and we multiply the fractional distance times it. We add the answer from step 2 to x1, and that'll be how we get our x values. Then you'll see that it says repeat steps 1 through 3 for the y-coordinates. So that's going to be the main difference from what we're doing on these ones. So let's start off on this example 4. It says point M is 1/3 the distance from J to K. What are the coordinates of M? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to repeat those steps that we just learned for the x values and the y values. Let's start with the x values. So we've got x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to do x2 minus x1. 5 minus -3, which is 5 plus 3, which is 8. But we don't want to go 1/3 of the way. I'm sorry, we don't want to go the whole way. We want to go 1/3 of the way. Now, I think I goofed something up here. Oh, you know what? Yours will say -4. I'm sorry. Yours says -4. I'm using an old copy of the file. So let's change that to a -4. I'm sorry about that. Yours will say -4. 5 minus -4 is 9. So we get 9 there. But we don't want to go the whole 9. We want to go 1/3 of that. So we're going to do 1/3 of 9. 1/3 of 9 is 3. But we don't want to... 3 is not our answer, right? 3 is the distance that we need to travel from x1. So we go back to x1. We go back to that -4. We add the 3. And we get -1. So my final answer here is going to have an x value of -1. Now let's repeat that process, but with the y values. So for my y values, I'm going to do 9 minus -7. 9 plus 7 is 16. We don't want to go the whole way there. Oh my gosh, what did I do here? Did I mess that one up too? Golly. Let's make that a -6. I'm so sorry. I did not upload the most recent version of this. So that'll give me -6 instead. 9 plus 6 is 15. Sorry, yours, the copy you're looking at has the correct numbers. I am using the wrong one. So that's 15. But we want to go 1/3 of 15, which is 5. And so then we're going to go back to the original x, or the original y value, which is -6. We're going to add that 5. -6 plus 5 is actually -1. So my final answer here is -1, -1. Our x values gave us this, and our y values gave us this. Okay. Let's check out this one. What's going on here? Point B is 1/5 of the distance from A to C. What are the coordinates of B? Okay, so x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's start off with our x's. So we start off by doing x2 minus x1. That's going to be 22 minus 2, which gives us 20. We don't want to go the whole 20, though. We want to go 1/5 of 20, which is 4. And where did we start? We started at 2, at our x1. So 2 plus 4 gives us 6. Now for the y values. The y value is going from -8 to 2, so we're going to do 2 minus -8 to get 10. 1/5 of 10 is 2. And where were we starting? We were starting at -8, so -8 plus 2 is -6. So once again, our x values gave us that. Our y values led us to the -6. Cool, cool, cool. All right. We got one more over here. 2/3 of the distance. So let's set it up again. x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so x is time. What do we got here? x2 minus x1, 9 minus 0, which is 9. We don't want to go that whole way, though. We want to go 2/3 of that. 2/3 of 9 is 6. And we started at 0, so 0 plus 6 is 6. Now let's check out the y values. So we're going from -6 to 9, so we're going to do 9 minus -6, which gives me 15. We want to go 2/3 of that. 2/3 of 15 is 10. And we started at -6, so -6 plus 10 is 4. Okay, hopefully you guys are getting the hang of it here. Let's check out this last one here. Point B is 2/5 of the way from -10, -5 to 5, 20. What are the coordinates of B, and what is the length of AB? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so round to the nearest tenth does tell me that we'll be doing some calculations here with our calculator. Remember, anytime they're asking for the length, they're actually talking about doing the distance formula. So we're going to have to do that at the end of this one. But let's start off by finding out where B actually is. All right, we're going to have to start off by doing that process that we've been doing. So let me label this here. x1, y1, x2, y2. Start off with our x's here, -10 and 5. x2 minus x1, so that is 5 minus -10. 5 plus 10 is 15. We're going to find 2/5 of 15, which is 6. We go back to that -10. We add the 6. We get -4. All right, now y time. My y's are -5 and 20. So I'm going to do 20. Ooh, sorry about that. I'm going to do 20 minus -5, which is 25. 2/5 of 25 is 10. I'm going to go back to that -5. I'm going to add my 10, and I get 5. Okay, so what does that do for me? Well, that finds out where B is. Now I need to find the length of AB. So for AB, let's just jot those down. A was -10, -5. B, we just found, was -4, 5. So this is my x1, y1. This is my x2, y2 for the second part of the problem. So now let's do the distance formula. Because I need to find the actual length of this thing. So x2 minus x1, that's -4 minus -10, that's -4 plus 10. And then y2 minus y1, 5 minus -5, 5 plus 5. Now, since it did say round to the nearest tenth, I'm just typing this in my calculator. Right? If they said simplest radical form, I'd have to do it by hand. But round to the nearest tenth, that is permission to just type it on in. And I'm getting 11.66, so 11.7. All right. Hopefully that went good for y'all. It is now officially your turn to practice a little bit here. So you're going to be looking at the your turn side, the little half sheet. You got 6 problems over there. Go ahead and try those out. Pause the video, give it a shot, come back when you're ready. Okay, so this should have been 12 minus 3 to get 9. 1/3 of 9 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 2/3 from -4 to 8. 8 minus -4 is 12. 2/3 of 12 is 8. -4 plus 8 is 4. Alrighty. For my x's, 8 minus -2 is 10. 1/5 of 10 is 2. -2 plus 2 is 0. And then for y, 24 minus 4 is 20. 1/5 of 20 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. This one just says find the midpoint. So midpoint's the halfway point. So you could do it like we've been doing, or you could just remember your midpoint formula. If you just remember your midpoint formula, that's 4 plus 6 over 2, and -8 minus 4 over 2. 4 plus 6 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. -8 minus 4 is -12, divided by 2 is -6. 2/3 of the way between those. So for my x's, that's -2 minus 4, which is -6. 2/3 of -6 is -4. And 4 plus -4, or 4 minus 4, is 0. For my y's, I've got 5 minus -4, which is 9. 2/3 of 9 is 6. -4 plus 6 is 2. So 0, 2. And then 2/5 of the way from -30 to 20. So this is just a single number line. So 20 minus -30 is 50. 2/5 of 50 is 20. And then -30 plus 20 is -10. All right, hopefully you guys did well there. And that wraps it up for this one.